everybody. Welcome to Knit56, my podcast about knitting. My name is Shawn Glidden, and this is episode number 10. It's January 31st, 2017. A lot has happened. I haven't podcasted for about 6 weeks, I think. Could be a little bit longer. A lot has happened. The holiday, the new year, lots of political unrest in our country taking my attention, but I'm always knitting. So, I've got my notes, and I am going to start off with some finished items. First, let me say, you can find me on the internet at my YouTube channel, Knit56, and if you find me there, please subscribe. It'd be, I'd love to let you know about when I have future podcasts. You'll get a little notification if you subscribe. And on Ravelry, you can find me under Lulugal. Also, there's a Knit56 group that you can come over there and join that group and introduce yourself. And I have a website called acmeknits.com, www.acmeknits.com. And you can find my podcast there, some projects. I have a short video of some other works I've done. Anyway, on with the good stuff. Okay. Oh, I'm wearing one of the things I finished. It's a garter stitch shawl, and these colors on my screen anyway look pretty true. I talked about this last time. It was something I was working on. You can't really see the nice little, there you go. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. So this is called Have a Glass of Wine. It takes 1 skein each of 100 grams of sock weight yarn or fingering weight yarn. Here's a picture of the whole thing. And my pattern is out to 1 tester right now. And if you think you would like to try your hand at this, if you have some complementary colors, a couple of skeins of yarn, let me know. Either respond to this podcast or send me a message on Ravelry to Lulugal that you would like to try your hand at test knitting this for me. It's nice and scrumptious. It's not too big. It's perfect for a little scarf. Today it's looking out my window at the snow, and the sun is trying to come out. It's about 30 degrees, and it's a perfect day for something nice and toasty to wear around your neck. And the next finished item, so yes, so that was called Glass of Wine. Have a glass of wine, because it's fairly easy. Once you start knitting, you don't really have to follow the pattern. Once you do 1 repeat, it's easy. The other thing I finished were my socks, and they look a little goofy because I've been wearing them. But what's really nice is the heel. I like the way the heel turned out. And I think this is a Gems merino sock yarn. I'm not really sure. I started these last fall, and it took forever. I think I knit them on a size 2. I started on a size 2, but went to a size 1. And I have lots of instep stitches because I have a high instep and kind of a short foot, but they fit me perfect. I have enough of this yarn to do the same sock, only the opposite, with the body of it, the maroon. And I like this little heel stitch, the way it turned out. Isn't that sweet? So, yeah, just a vanilla sock pattern that I made to fit me. Okay, now on to my works in progress. First thing is this shawl that I'm knitting using a vortex shaping. And it's my own pattern. I'm creating it as I go. Ta-da! But the yarn is great. I love this yarn. I'll show you the label. It's a filigrane. This I got from my friend Carl. His mom died and left a bunch of yarn that she had, some Swedish yarn. So, or Norwegian. I think this is Norwegian. It's 100% merino. It shows up, and this is a size 1 needle, American size 1. So I think it's 2.25 millimeter. And And I have 100 grams of it. Wow, it's a lace weight yarn. Sorry, it's kind of tangled here. So I started out with just a few stitches and doing this kind of lace work. Kind of like a little arrowhead. And I'm progressing along, and then I started with this other somewhat arrow type shape of lace. And then I'll probably expand this. Once I get, right now I'm working on both patterns at the same time. As soon as I get all this on the needles, that only working on this kind of lace, then I'll make another wider panel. And it's slow going, it's lace weight. The back, you know, every other row is just knit stitches as they appear, either knits or purls, so that's pretty easy. But I'd split it into 2 cakes, and so I haven't even knit half of it yet. It looks like it's gonna be long and narrow. But I'm enjoying this. I really like the lace weight yarn. Oh, I got it all tangled up here. It's really soft. It's very soft and round, and yet it's holding its stitch definition, and it's really easy to knit with. Feels nice going through my hands. I really like this pattern. So, long and skinny. It's probably not going to be very deep, but it'll wrap around lots of times, around your neck. So I don't have a name for that other than that's my vortex shawl. That's what I'm working on. And then I'm also working on a sweater. And I have the back done. And this is actually going to be for me. I'm kind of excited about that. I have placeholders where the armholes and then started. So here it is. I'm just going to put it over my head so you can see. This is the back. I have the back done. It's a pullover with a nice ribbed collar. I'll show you a picture of it. And it's called, and I have this much of the front done. So every day I just work on a different project. I just decide. And if I have more than a couple hours of knitting, I might work on 2 projects depending on what I want to knit on. This is mostly pretty simple. Knit and purl stitches going back and forth with that nice cable running up. And I actually have in my stash, I had the yarn, the appropriate yarn for this pattern. It's Elspeth Lavold yarn, silky wool. There's the label. And I have 9 hanks of this. I have just enough to finish my size. Here is a lovely picture. Designed by Elspeth Lavold. This will be so sweet. Beautiful. It's called Tortoise. T-O-R-D-I-S. Let's see if I have another picture of it. Nope, just that one. It's in this book by Elspeth Lavold. I took a class with her about knitting and cabling and Nordic cables, and she has a nice way of doing cables that more people are doing now, but when she started doing this, not that many people were doing it, and so the cables are on a background of reverse stockinette stitch, and when she starts her cable, she increases 4 stitches. Let's say if it's 2 stitches crossing over 2, she'll increase the stitches so that you're not pulling any of the fabric in. It just adds the stitches. And so in that way, here's the cover again. The cables don't really, they don't pull in quite as much as they would if you were using just the same number of stitches and started cabling and pulling them in. So the thing about this sweater is that for me to reach gauge, I'm using a needle size 2 sizes smaller. The pattern calls for a size 6 for the body And I'm using a size 4, and I'm getting gauge. So I think my stitches have really loosened up a lot in my knitting. I think I used to be a much tighter knitter than I am now. Whoops. Here's my notes. The graph. I keep track of the graph. I'm not going to show it to you too closely because it's a book that I purchased ages ago. And the yarn. I love this yarn. I think I bought that yarn probably... When did I buy it? A long time ago. There used to be a store in St. Paul called Aurora Borealis, and they carried Elsbeth Levold's yarns, and I just loved them. And they went out of business a couple of years ago. That might have been when I got that, maybe 5 years ago. Anyway, on to the next. The next project I'm working on. Oh, I'm really excited about this too. There's a pattern I purchased through Ravelry from Melanie Berg. Let me look at my notes. Yes, Melanie Berg, and the name of the shawl is Void. I don't know, you probably won't really be able to see a picture of it. You can kind of get a picture of the shape. I am loving this knit. Once I started, I didn't have to follow the pattern anymore. I'm using 2 cones of Harrisville worsted weight. It's about 900 yards total, 450 each cone. Yeah, and I'm doing this on a size 8 needle, I believe. It might be a 9. I think it's an 8 though. And look at this lovely texture. I guess I'm into textured knitting right now with my sweater. And now this is 100% wool. It smells great. And it's, because I'm in the middle of a row, you can't really tell how big it is. But I'm doing it on these large circular needles. That's the inside, of course. I just fell in love with this. I fell in love with the color, obviously, because I'm doing very similar color. And the texture. I love textured knitting. And I wanted something to get away from the lace weight or sock weight yarn. So this is a worsted. Oh, and it's really fun. The repeats, 8 rows, really simple. The increases are simple to remember. So I can work on that when I'm tired late at night. It's easy on the hands. So that pattern is called Void by Melanie Berg. And I found that on Ravelry. Let's see, what's this? I got all these things collecting here. All right, I have a couple more projects to show you. A lace project. Another lace project. I joined this KAL called Wonders of the World, and it's really great. They are going across all 6 continents, featuring yarn and designers from each continent, and they've asked different podcasters to be the host for their continents. And the first one was Australia. Oh, and I can't remember the name of the podcaster that I was watching. A young woman who's traveling around. Anyway, I'll put it in the show notes. It's called Wonders of the World KAL. And so I had, in 2007, because I still have the packaging from Australia, purchased some 100% merino wool, hand-dyed by a dyer in Australia. And I never quite knew what to do with it. It's definitely a lace weight. So, inspired by the KAL, I am knitting a shawl from Galina, I don't know her, Galina Kamiliva's Gossamer Web. And this book is great. I'll show you the one I'm doing. I don't quite have enough yarn for the whole thing, So I'm just taking out a couple repeats, and I might not make it as long, but it's called the Pine Tree Palatine Scarf. And here's a picture of the bottom part. And I love this concept, the way these shawls are made, where you knit across one side, you knit the border, and then you pick up stitches and you knit the sides and the body, and then you knit the top border. I really like that. Works for me. I did a shawl like that last year too, out of alpaca. Sorry about the clicking. This is so fine. And I love this color. This color is showing really true right now. It must be the light and the color of my room. I don't know, but my camera's picking it up pretty good. So you can see I worked across the bottom lace and then picked up and started. I put a marker between each pattern repeat. It helps me keep track. I don't have to worry about where I am. And then on the edges, you keep that edging pattern going up the sides. So I decreased the size by 60 stitches. They called for 23 teeth at the bottom. Here they call these the teeth, the points of the pattern. And I did 15. So I really enjoy this. This yarn is so fine. It's so fine. I'm doing this on the pattern I think calls for I can't remember. I could look. I can't remember. This is, I believe, a 3. And I might get a sharper point. I'm finding that I actually am, this is a 2-ply. This is so thin, and it's a 2-ply. So, yeah, I'm actually splitting the plies sometimes. Oh, I love this project, and it's very soft, that merino. So, Wonders of the World KAL. Next and final on my list is Find Your Fade. Oh, and did I write down whose pattern it is? I did not. Find Your Fade. It's a really popular pattern right now among bloggers on Ravelry. And you need 7 colors of yarn. All this texture work I'm doing, I was dying for some color work. I thought, oh man, I'm not doing any color work. So, I'll show you my 7 colors first. I'm starting with this. And then next was this. And then next was this. I'll show you these all when I'm done with them. Then this. Ooh, that's not quite that bright. And then this, which is almost like this, but a little bit darker. And then this. And then at the very bottom, which is kind of horizontal in the shawl, is this gold. So I'll have the yellows at the edges and this nice blue. Okay, I'm going to try and show you this. I can't really see what I'm doing, but there's my Find Your Fade. Da, 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 da. Can you see? I can't even tell if you can see what I see. This is not a very good way to do this. Anyway, those are all my colors. And this yarn is a Norwegian wool. I have the labels here. It doesn't say, it's a 2-ply, and I've taped them to the bottom of my pattern. It's a 4-purchase pattern on Ravelry. I'll just show you one of the labels. So, I have no idea how to say that. but it feels like 100% wool. It's definitely 2-ply. And here's the other side with the care instructions. So I am really liking this. I'll show you how far I've gotten. This too is mostly garter stitch with a simple lace pattern interspersed between garter stitch rows. And let's see, I'll make sure I get the right side. So there's a little bit of the gull yellow into the blue, into what's kind of a periwinkle. And that goes into this other blue. Get back there. The blue, and I just started the darker blue section. These two are really similar. And it's about this big. And now I'm at 233 stitches. And what happens is the center spine, the shaping is very unique and I love it. Actually, I'll show you a picture from the pattern. There's the shaping. So I am right about, I have 2 colors left. So I think I'm right about here. No, here. We're going this way. I'm at this red part on this. And this is the 7th color. And on mine, this will be gold next to a really dark blue, which I think is going to be really cool when it's done. So, I wonder if the name of the designer is right on this. Sometimes I don't print out, it's not, I didn't print out the entire pattern, just the part I needed. It's very long. Cool, huh? Can't wait. So this fiber is a little bit sticky, but I think, sorry if I'm making you dizzy, I think it's gonna wash up really soft. I also got this from Carl's mom, because it feels soft even though it's kind of crunchy. It's hard to describe. I can't wait to wash it. It's gonna be great. I work on this one probably the most of all my projects. So once again, that's called the Find Your Fade shawl. So last time I read from a book by James Norbury called Traditional Knitting Patterns. And I plan on continuing reading out of that book. However, I have no idea where I put it. I was going to podcast last week, and I got all my stuff together, including the book, and then I lost my phone. I left it in a bathroom at a coffee shop, and half hour later, when I called them, it was gone. I realized I had left my phone there. I borrowed a friend's phone, called the coffee shop. My phone was no longer there, so I lost it, and I had to get a new one. It took 3 or 4 days, I don't know, Thursday to Monday. But in the meantime, I misplaced the book. I put everything away after pulling it all out, and I've looked everywhere. I know it's still in the house. It's probably in a project bag somewhere. I'm not sure. But, so that's it for today. I will find that book and read some more from it next time. I think I'm on to the part about Italian knitting. So, thanks for joining me. This is short and sweet. Got to share all my new knitting projects for 2017. Most of these I started this year. I just kept going, wanting to do more and more. Take care, everyone. Call your congresspeople, let them know what you think. Stay involved, and yeah, talk to you soon. Bye.